Hello, this is editor Maddie. I am sorry for being so late on this. I meant to post this last week. We actually recorded it in time and I did not edit it because I was binging the show Extracted that Bridget told me about, which is this show where they have amateurs go try to survive in the wild and then your family can extract you. Anyways, it was very fascinating. I got very into it. It took up all my time. So, kind of blaming Bridget, but mostly my choices. So, hope you guys enjoy.
I honestly never thought we'd get here.
I'm sorry. We're just having a chin wag, you know?
Yeah. Today's episode is actually on Monopoly Go. Maddie will be telling you all about it.
And us planning trips to Vegas and Orlando to go to the new Universal theme park.
Yeah. I'm glad that you mentioned it because I had no idea, but it looks super fun.
I know, it looks so fun. Oh my gosh, it looks so fun. I really want to go.
We should at least do the silver one, the one in Idaho. We should at least try that this summer because it's a quicker trip.
Yeah. I bet we could make that a day trip.
I think it could literally be either like
that would be a really ambitious day trip.
I think it could be a weekend trip, like just a Saturday, Sunday without taking off work.
Where you at? Silverwood Theme Park. I've literally never heard of this before. Does Idaho have good safety regulations? Something about Idaho makes me feel like it doesn't.
Our Indiana theme parks always won awards, and I feel like Indiana and Idaho are pretty equivalent.
That's true. Conservatives know how to theme park.
Ours is called Santa Claus Land, and then it changed to Holiday World. It's actually super cute.
Let's take stock of the best theme parks in the nation. All Republican states.
It's true. They need that family-friendly
Florida,
thrill.
Idaho, Indiana, Ohio. Damn. All right. You heard it here first, folks. Conservatives do theme parks better.
It might also have to do with giant expanses of flat land in many cases.
That's so true. That's really
I don't think you're going to find
like
in Seattle.
Pro-business tax incentives.
You say that like Washington doesn't have so many pro-business tax incentives.
You're right. Oh my gosh.
To our tax season,
we have
no
one of the
tax.
most regressive tax systems in the nation, which is just wild.
It's true.
But anyways, I just want to go to Orlando now. Oh my gosh, I have to focus up because I actually am very excited to talk about this game with you. Since I finished it, I've been waiting.
Oh.
I think it's going to be a fun conversation. No, I just think it's going to be a fun conversation.
Yeah. Maddie wins the award this time for finishing the game first. So
like
everyone clap
way
for Maddie.
First.
Yeah,
like, I think I finished
first.
This a month ago.
You finished it in like a week. Is that not true?
Yeah.
You finished it so fast.
We did.
Damn. It took Chris and I think like 3 weeks.
Yeah. We finished it really fast. Because it was kind of just what we were doing instead of watching TV after work every day.
Well, I really got boned here because we were in the midst of playing in the middle of WoW's new season or whatever is happening.
Or whatever is happening.
I don't know what it is. I just know that it exists. Sorry, guys. This is not the WoW podcast. I know nothing. I played like 20 minutes one time. But that kind of gummed up our potential play hours. But we got there. We finished it last night, right? Yeah. 2 nights ago?
No, night before the last.
Yes, Thursday. We finished it Thursday. So
at like midnight, right?
Yes. Well, because I didn't know if we were recording the day after, and poor Chris, if you're listening to this, I'm so sorry. We got into a mild spat because he, like, literally Thursday night, he's like, I'm going to play with my friends. And I'm like, we have to finish Split Fiction. Bridget.
And I'm Maddie. Welcome to Baddy Breakdowns, where we hang out, have fun, and play games all the way to the end. Today, we're going to talk about Split Fiction. We'll give you the breakdown from its creation to its critical reception. Then we'll take you on a deep dive into the game as we share our own experiences and opinions while playing it. We'll close with if we recommend it, who we'd recommend it to, and last but not least, our personal rating. With that, let's stop corporations from stealing our ideas!
Not related to AI at all in the slightest. I love that. I was like, where's she going to take it? And I like that direction.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
I
I
have
think
game
you have description. Yeah.
And it's like interesting. This is the description that they're using on all the storefronts. Embrace the mind-blowing moments as you're pulled deep into the many worlds of Split Fiction, a boundary-pushing co-op adventure. That's it.
I mean, it's all accurate. Short and sweet.
Yeah. It's just says nothing about the plot of the game.
Well, don't worry. Do I have a paragraph or two for you guys?
Yeah. So I did kind of write. I wrote my own, and I want to see if it's any better.
Oh my gosh, yes. Give it to us.
A cooperative, multiplayer-only game. Follow authors Mio and Zoe as they become imprisoned in the world of their stories, where they are connected to a machine designed to steal creative ideas and fight your way out.
I can't focus because you called her Zoe and not Zoe. What are you doing?
Wait, Zoe, I'm sorry. God. I can't win with you. Okay. Chill out.
I don't think I heard anything after Zoe.
It wasn't very good, don't worry.
No, I'm sure it was great. Tell us, podcast listeners. I'm sure it was really, really good.
No, it wasn't very good at all. How it's made, Bridget.
All right. So I looked at a few different resources today. One with the creative director, Josef Fares, who is from the studio Hazelight, which is the studio that made this game. He made a couple other games outside of, or one primary other game outside of Hazelight, which I actually want to mention, and also is a movie and film director.
Okay, this makes sense.
Pre-game making. Interesting. So I watched an interview with him. I read an article that was also an interview with him. And then I also watched a interview of the two voice actresses for our main characters. So I got a little bit of different variety there. A lot of the interviews and things that I saw, at least in my very light level of research this week, were more high level around the motivations towards the game, what you're trying to kind of get out of it. And I just want to say, like, one, this Joseph guy, he is hilarious. He apparently, so his history, the first game that really took off for him was Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Have you seen that game before?
That sounds so familiar.
So it's such a good game. I sobbed, I think, through probably about half of it. And what's so interesting about that game, if you haven't played it, is it was
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you should try it. No, I don't think so. It's usually super cheap on Steam because it's actually, I guess I don't know if it's on Game Pass. You should check, but I played it on Steam quite a bit ago. What's so funny about that game is it is a single player game. It is not a multiplayer game, but it plays kind of like it was supposed to be multiplayer co-op. And what's so funny about that game is I always look back on it and say, wow, I really wish that was a co-op game. And then after he made that game, every single big hit after that he's been creative director for was a co-op game. And so I wish I would have taken more time to read more about Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons and why he decided to make it single player instead of multiplayer. But I thought that was a very interesting beginning for him. After that, his next big game was a partnership with EA called A Way Out, which I have also played and was pretty good. Too. And then the big one that you guys are probably all very aware of is It Takes Two. Not only have we briefly mentioned it on our podcast previously, but Maddie hates it.
Well known.
Well known, well known. And for this game, of course, we're talking about Split Fiction, which is very similar to those other titles because it's fully focused on multiplayer. Like that's what it was made for. It was made for co-op. And that was one of the first things that he kind of talks about in his interview is that he wanted to make sure that you could have these unique character storylines, unique mechanics that were built from the ground up with co-op in mind, because you have kind of an opportunity to think about how those things can be different. He talked a little bit about why, you know, in the industry today, a lot of times things that are multiplayer have a lean towards non like for that single player experience, and then the multiplayer is kind of like tacked on a little bit, or you're doing things kind of like in tandem. I think an example for me honestly was Spiritfarer's multiplayer, where you have the main character and then your second player is a cat, you know what I mean, and you're like cute and you're running along with them and it's like kind of fun, but it's definitely not made with that in mind, right? And so he really liked the philosophy of what is it like if we go into this with like co-op being the thing. That's the main thing, which I love because I love co-op games. Couch co-op that is made really well. Ugh, we don't have enough of them. So I love that he's doing it.
Yes, me too.
The other thing that I thought was really interesting is, of course, he's like, this game is about friendship. And then later in the interviews that I saw, he did make a comment that one of the starting kind of inspirations for the game theme was what would it be like if they were playing in a rom-com with like the bickering and the going back and forth and stuff. And I definitely can see that. This felt very enemies to lovers for me, except for
could have been.
Could have been. What could have been? They are just BFFs, you guys. They made that pretty clear. But like it had that very like that vibe, right? Of we're two opposing forces, and that definitely came across in their original designs. They also wanted to emphasize a big theme of the game was that stories that you create have a piece of you that are a part of it. And I really wish the interviewers that I at least watched would have followed up with like, what piece of you is in this story? And I will say that there is one piece that I found out, which is that the characters are named after his daughters, Zoe and Neo.
That's cute.
So cute. And he talked a little bit about how, you know, they're very young, I think like toddler age. So he's like, it's not like they're based off of them. But he said, I thought about a future where I get to like go to my girls and say, here's some things that I've made.
That's cute.
I know.
Oh
I'm like tearing up a little bit.
Dad
it's
of the Year
so
award.
Cute. It's so cute. And I just appreciated that. You could tell this is like, he's a really heartfelt guy and he just kind of says his mind. I don't know. I was really charmed by like how weird and fun and heartfelt this guy was. He also apparently, if I've never seen this before, but apparently at the Game Awards, he made a speech one time where this includes the sentence, the Oscars should fuck themselves up. This is the real shit.
Okay.
Live on air with the Game Awards.
And that must have been when It Takes Two won, right?
Yeah, maybe. I can't remember. He was that wasn't even when it won yet. Like I watched the clip. I'll send you the link.
Okay,
maybe you can
funny.
include the sentence in here if you want to, because it's so
he's
funny.
scarred by the film industry. Honestly, what I've heard of the film industry is awful. So
yes, and he even mentions he like continuously in these interviews kind of disses it a little bit, because he's like, making games is so much harder. Like when you think about making a movie, it's relatively like we're making a movie within this game from the ground up. We have to make literally everything, and you can just tell he I think he even used the phrase making a movie is like taking a vacation. Like in comparison, which I thought was really funny. He did also mention though that there have been talks about making a movie based on his games. He didn't mention which one or if it was specifically Split Fiction.
It's already been. I read it on the Wikipedia for the game while I was doing my critical reception.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So I do think that's interesting.
I mean, it's totally possible It Takes Two is also like there, but Split Fiction is already being like a screenplay is already being written for it.
That's exciting. He mentioned in the interview that I read that there had been talks, but that 95% of talks is BS. So who knows?
I mean, it could still. There's so many movies and stuff that that get, started
Yeah.
and never
Then dropped.
Yeah.
The last thing that I wanted to mention based on the interviews were the two voice actresses. So Ellie, hold on just one second.
Oh, Amazon bought the rights. Sorry. Amazon bought the rights to the movie adaptation of It Takes Two. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is a producer.
To be fair, Dwayne in Jumanji was the shit. So if it ends up anything like Jumanji, I'd be very satisfied.
But they also want Johnson to be the male lead. That's not a The Rock role.
It's so different.
Divorced chubby dad.
Chubby yarn. Well, no, I thought he was kind of big. Was he not? Hold on.
No, I mean, he's fine, but he's like supposed to be kind of like letting himself go.
Oh, you're right. He's definitely letting himself go. You're right. Couldn't remember his physique.
That's not letting himself go, divorced dad. Like,
maybe. Can you imagine Rock letting himself go?
So it's going to be movie? It's going to be a prime original film.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting.
So, I mean, that feels like about right for this storyline. I'm so sorry. Okay.
The shade.
Okay, continue.
Okay, last bit here was around Elsie Bennett, who played Zoe, and Kaya Chan, who played Mio. And there's not really a ton that I got from this interview that I thought would be interesting to share in this podcast, except for the fact that these two are the cutest that I've ever seen. They were having so much fun in this interview. You could tell they were actually really close friends. And also, Kaya has a twin, which she plays Mio, so not the one with a twin, but still very, like, interesting. But she even mentions that, like, twins have signals when they kind of talk to each other, and she's like, the only other person I can do that with now is like Elsie, and I'm like, is that not the cutest thing you've ever
so
seen?
Cute.
The one thing that I thought was super cute, so I knew that they were strangers going into it because they told the story of their audition for Split Fiction. And this is so funny. I love it so much. So apparently they both interviewed separately, and then they got called back in for a chemistry read. And the chemistry read was for the opening scene in the elevator, which we'll get to in a bit. Yeah. And so Elsie and Kaya were like, hey, let's get together and let's chat about like how we want to do this, and then let's run lines together. And they were like, okay, yeah, great. So they went and they practiced together, and then they go to this audition, and they audition with the elevator scene.
Mm-hmm.
And they said it was the most awkward thing that's ever happened to them because they got through all the lines. I thought they were doing really well, and then the director never called cut. They kept just kind of like waiting there in like an awkward elevator scene. So they were like, ooh, how do we keep going? Are we still in character? They didn't call cut, so we have to keep going. And eventually, after a super long time, the director or whoever was doing called cut, and they were like, did you guys not realize there was a second half to this script?
Oh, no.
And they both started cracking up laughing. Neither one of them had flipped it over.
They had not flipped over the thing. That's funny.
Yes, but they did say that they think that it worked out in their favor because they were both just cracking up laughing. Of course, both of them didn't think to like flip the paper over, and you could just tell that they were getting along really well. So those two, I think for this game, they did an absolutely phenomenal job.
I agree.
And I could definitely tell it looked like they had become really close through it, which is adorable because that's what the game was about. So
friendship.
Fun. Yeah, and that's what I have for today. Friendship. Power of friendship.
Yay. Awesome. Okay, I'll be super quick with my critical reception. Overwhelmingly positive on Steam, 91 on Metacritic. Also had the must play. It's a Metacritic must play.
Ooh.
Which I think you get if you're over 90, perhaps, because it's like pretty rare. 8.9 user score, so actually a little bit lower than I was expecting on the user score on Metacritic, but still really good. The positives that people were talking about, obviously, God, people are dying for co-op games. Like, it is something so many people want, and there's like one studio and Nintendo. They're the only ones actually doing it. And so I think that this is just I love when games like this sell a bunch because it just makes me
motivates
hope.
others.
Yes, it just makes me hope. Super consumer friendly is like another thing that people were saying because they have the friend pass, which is really awesome. So
Oh,
essentially,
I
if
didn't
you buy
realize.
the game and then you hadn't bought the game, I
Uh-huh.
could give you a friend pass for free to play with me.
Oh, interesting. When I played on console, just let Chris join, so I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, well, because we were doing couch co-op. But if you,
Yeah.
like, for example, if you didn't have someone to couch
Yeah.
co-op with, but you had a friend who lived in, like, Kentucky or whatever, right? Then you could give them the friend pass and they wouldn't have to buy the game to
Yeah.
play with you. You would just
Yeah.
let them do the friend pass and they could play with you,
That's
which
really
is really
fun.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The other one is just, like, people were just saying it's pure fun, polished, good level design. And
Mhm.
then, honestly, everybody was agreeing that the story was probably the weakest part of the game. And there were some complaints about the game not being hard enough or challenging enough. So
Oh.
that's the TLDR on the critical
Mm.
reception.
I'm excited to talk about this one because I will admit that I loved this game, and so I was having a hard time critiquing it. So I'm interested to see, like, when you say
Oh,
those out loud,
really?
I'm like, oh, interesting. And so I don't know. This will be a interesting one
I
today.
also love this game, but I have some critiques.
Okay, we'll
But
get
I did
there.
love it.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, you ready? We
yeah.
diving in? Woo! Diving
Woo!
in.
First impressions?
First impressions. Okay, so my first impression was I was like, ooh, it's like a VR type experience. It's just really creepy though. Like Mio seemed like the only person that was like kind of with it in that first opening scene because they're like getting hooked up and like put in these bubbles and they're
These
like being like fucking levitated and like
And everyone's just like, this is chill. Did I sign a waiver?
yes,
No, but it's fine.
no. And it's like kind of creepy and the dude is giving like major Steve Jobs vibes,
Oh, yeah.
the corporate
Mad
guy.
scientist. Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, this is really creepy. I would be so out. Mio is not wrong.
I know. I'd be like, fucking out of there. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Ugh.
So those are my first impressions. Is just like that
Yeah.
first scene was just really setting this interesting stage of like characters with no sense of self-preservation for the most part, except for Mio, which was funny.
Yes.
But I did
Yes.
like it. I was in it. I was in it.
Yeah. I had very similar sentiments. I think I was very confused about where the legal team was for Raider
Yeah.
Publishing. I was like, who let you do this? This looks like an institution. You must have a legal team, and someone must have told you this is a terrible idea. Because the people that come in, it's like a big group. It's not just Mio and Zoe. It's like a big group, and when they all come in, they're told that they're signing a publishing deal, right?
Yeah.
And so when they come in, you're thinking, oh, we're gonna write a book, or here's my draft, or blah blah blah. Let's figure out agencies and whatever. Instead, they get on these space suits, these like sci-fi space suits, and then float in these bubbles. And if somebody told me that I was going to be experimenting with an unreleased machine getting into my brain and floating in this bubble, I would be so far out that door. Like, and the
Yeah.
fact that Mio was the only one who fought back, I was like, that is an odd setup. But yeah.
I think they were trying to go for, oh, like these artists like are starving and they're just like dying
Yeah.
to get something, right? Or like not
Yeah.
but starving artists, like as in like,
Yeah.
not like
Like the
actually
theoretical, like
starving.
the
Yes,
term.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're so desperate for a publishing deal that they're like, sure, experiment on my brain.
Which, I mean, to be fair, they do dig into that desperation a little bit later.
Yeah.
But still, I find it very surprising that other people didn't try to leave. It was just Mio. Everyone else is so chill about it. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I know you wrote down a little game summary.
I did. I think that we got some of the intro stuff, so I can just talk through it. I was gonna go like totally until the end, like a quick summary. Is that okay? And then we can dig
let's
into
do it.
Okay, great.
I like
Okay.
that. We're trying this new format instead of like section, talk about section. Like, I think it's interesting. I want to keep trying it.
Yeah.
See
Let
if
us
it
know,
works
you
out.
guys, like what you prefer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Summary, Bridget, go.
So as we mentioned, Mio and Zoe, you know, they arrive at Raider Publishing. They're strangers. They get hooked up to these weird simulation machines, right? Well, Mio, when she tries to leave, again, gets forcibly like tussled with by Raider, the dude who's running this stuff, and falls into Zoe's bubble. So that's like the main thing here is that Zoe and Mio are sharing the simulation bubble of experiencing their own stories that they've written as if they were the characters. And they swap back
It's
and
like
forth.
a very rich VR experience.
Yes. Which, to be fair, I would totally do it. Like, I would totally do it. If I knew it was tested, I would totally do it.
And safe. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they end up in these worlds where they're going back and forth through these glitches. And the only reason they're going through the glitches is because the machine that's hosting them isn't used to having two people in a bubble. It's breaking down. And Zoe and Mio are like, how do we get out of here? Let's keep trying to like bust through these glitches so that we can break down the machine and escape. Yes, go ahead.
So the whole like conceit.
Oh, I
at the
hadn't gotten
beginning.
there yet.
You were gonna.
No. Go ahead.
Mio is a science fiction writer, and Zoe is a fantasy writer, and you can't do both. You can't like both. So I just thought that was such a funny conceit of like they were like arguing back and forth as if you can only like fantasy or sci-fi. Okay, continue.
And I feel like most people that like fantasy also like sci-fi and vice versa.
That's why I thought it was really funny that they were like arguing like sci-fi's better, no, fantasy is better, like the whole time, like as if this like dichotomy is something that actually exists in the world. Yes. Okay, continue.
No, that's a great addition. And it does feel very enemies to lovers because of that, like that kind of trope, right? Enemies to BFFs. And during this going back and forth between the glitches, they learn that the truth is that these machines are stealing all of their ideas. So everything that's being simulated, they're being stolen and theoretically going to be used to publish content. Will they get the credit? Probably not, because I assume this is somewhat an allegory to AI, generative shenanigans. So as they find more glitches, the machine starts becoming more and more strained. And so to save the machine, Raider, the head honcho dude, is like, fuck it. Maybe we kill these girls, but also let's put it in repair mode. We'll send them off to their own subconsciouses. And hopefully we can get this thing back up and running. And the whole time his board or whoever it is on the calls are like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, fuck you guys. And, you know, it's a whole shenanigan. And so eventually the women, Mio and Zoe, do conquer their inner fears, their demons, all that kind of stuff within their subconscious. I know, it's very, very dramatic. And they halt the repair process. So Raider is peeved off. So he rage forces himself into their bubble also, which I cannot imagine how he thought that was a good idea, but fine. And then one very trippy boss battle later, Zoe and Mio defeat Raider. They bust out of their bubble. The machine is destroyed, and they walk away being best friends forever.
Yay! And they publish a book together.
And guess what it's called? It's called Split Fiction.
Split Fiction. Oh my god. Really tying it up with a bow.
Super tight.
Great. That was awesome. That was only 3.5 minutes. That was not bad.
Yay! I tried.
I also interjected.
But your interjections were good, because I was gonna like one-liner that, but you're right. That really needed a lot more fluff there, because I absolutely didn't think about how ridiculous it was that they were arguing so much about those two genres.
Okay, so essentially I thought overall the story was good. I liked it a lot better than It Takes Two from the jump, right? Like I thought the concept of the story was really creative, if I'm being honest. I think that the things that just kept getting pretty silly was like, it was so damn cheesy. It was so ding dang cheesy. Like, the whole thing, I was just like rolling my eyes at some of these lines that they would do. And then I also thought like the Raider evil corporate dude, it was so like just over, like it was just so comically bad. Do you know what I mean? Like at one point in the end battle, he literally says, "In here, I'm God." And I was just like, Okay, bro.
Okay, buddy. Whatever you say.
And I did think that, I did think that the story had some really touching moments in it.
Mhm.
It just felt like I just wish it had gotten a little bit of a pass versus like where it had landed, because I think that if they had gotten to a place that was like a bit less predictable, a bit less cheesy,
Mhm.
it could have been like really cool, because they had some really interesting things going for it. So they both had these, like, the thing that you start to uncover, because they start off as strangers, so as they
Mhm.
get to know each other as they're going through the game, that you learn that Mio has a dad who is sick, and she
Yeah.
has to like pay his medical bills, like it's like medical debt related. And then Zoe has a twin sister, and I kind of called it from the beginning that
Oh, I
twin
called it,
sister
I
was
think,
dead.
immediately.
Yes. Okay, see, this
Yes.
is what
I
I
was
mean.
like,
The
oh, she's
writing is
dead.
so predictable, because she's
Immediately,
like,
I was like, she's dead. Yeah.
because Zoe throughout the whole thing was constantly being like, oh, my sister would have loved this or whatever. And then
Yes. It was all very
know,
past tense.
it was all very past tense. She talked about her a lot. A
Mhm.
lot of her stories were based off of it. So it was just kind of like, okay, sister's dead, right? Like,
Yeah,
sister's
totally.
dead.
Sister's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, the actual cliche thing about it is she's dead because of a thing that, like, Zoe did. Not really, but you know what I mean. Like, that's the
Yeah, like she drowned in a river, which was like
She-
super intense.
I know.
I do think that it could have been handled with a little more care at the end, if that makes sense. Like, not the...
In what way?
It felt really traumatic for one of the pieces to be literally her sister, like, drowning again, if that makes sense.
Like, in the subconscious area. Yeah.
Yeah, like a little bit like the game was too lighthearted for that particular moment. I thought the moment that was good and heartfelt was the one where they saw the sister gardening and they had the conversation.
She comes up, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That I think was done well, but then it was like either followed or maybe before that it had the like Zoe's like like she's drowning again.
Yeah, like before
then,
you fight the Hydra. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was
Yeah.
just like, oh, that's like a little intense for it to kind of just be like a cheesy, predictable, like, I can't save my sister moment. I don't know.
I feel like I didn't mind that as much, but I actually minded a little bit more for those sections, specifically with Zoe's subconscious section about her sister dying, was that the dialogue they gave Mio for a lot of the barks, not like the cutscenes. The cutscene dialogue was really good, and there were so many moments, like when Mio had to go run to Zoe with her glowy bubble to like protect her, and Zoe's like stumbling, and you're like running with, I don't know. It was
that was good. Yeah.
Very heartfelt, but like the barks that Zoe said a lot of the time felt out of touch. I'm like, girl, you know that her sister is dead. She has already told you she's dead. We're in her subconscious. Everything's destroyed and broken and sad here. What do you think this is? You know? And she kept being like, I don't know, a lot of the barks that she would have with those one-liners, I was like, girl, don't say that. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
like maybe chill for just like a second.
Yeah. Like give her some slack. Like,
yeah. Wait, who did you play? We didn't say that. Who did you play?
oh my gosh, I was Zoe.
I was Mio.
Yay. I kind of
Yay.
figured you would be Mio, and
It's because Chris is a Zoe. We all know it.
yeah. And then in my relationship, I'm more the Zoe. We're neither of us are either, but I was like, Zoe felt more for me. Mio felt more for DK, I guess, is what the
Yeah.
what the TLDR of that is. But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was good. And then okay, I just have an issue with these subconscious levels. And
Oh,
then
okay.
Mio, Dark Mio, come on. That was cheesy AF. Like,
Well,
that
it's also
was
so clear.
like, it was like, now your big boss is Dark Mio. And it was just so... come on. That was cheesy.
Well, they also heard
I
her
even
voice,
wrote,
and she's like, who
Dark
is it?
Mio is so painful. Like, it is so painful that it exists. Like... Yeah.
I don't think I mind the cheese because I kind of expected this game to be cheesy because I feel
It
like
veered camp for me, honestly. It was so cheese, it was campy.
yeah,
And I
but
do
it
like
wasn't.
that. It was entertaining.
It was campy in some moments intentionally, so I feel like that's a little of its vibe. Like the
I
cell
don't
phone
think he was
section,
intending it to be so camp. No, the cell phone section was more comedy.
but that was still very camp. Like, ooh, I'm gonna really whatever, and I'm gonna pull out a cell phone and do these stupid little cell phone capture games. Like, I definitely feel like they were trying to balance the like they had mentioned rom-com. Like, I think and rom-coms are cheesy, so I feel like they
Totally.
were leaning in some places, but I do think that the subconscious levels are supposed to land harder. And so I agree with that. Although I don't feel like I was put off as much by them. I just thought that they
I
were
wasn't
predictable.
put off. So to be clear, I was having a ton of fun. It was just like so cheesy and
It
like
was.
so
It was.
campy. It was just
Yeah.
severe, and it felt like they were trying to be like, I'm
Very
curious
serious.
if it was purposeful or not. It felt
Yeah.
like it wasn't purposeful, but then it just ended up being that. Like, to me,
Yeah.
I pictured the person who wrote this being like, this is so hard hitting, this is so deep, this is so, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly
like
what you mean.
like, and now we're gonna have her fight her dark side, dark Mio. I feel like the writer thought, oh, cool, versus
It's like,
I was
wouldn't this be
like,
fucking
wow,
funny?
this is silly AF. You know,
I
like,
think you're right. And I feel like they could have had more one-liners if they meant it to be really funny. So you're probably right. Like,
but that's okay because like sometimes the best like B movies and shit are the ones that were not
It's
self-aware, right?
I'm a
Like,
big fan of those.
yeah. Like so there's nothing wrong with it. It was just comical to me. Like all
Yeah.
of these things added up were just pretty comical.
See, the real feedback I had was I thought that they had less fun with the genre bending things. So, like, as you go through the game, you really like you have two main plot lines, the fantasy plot lines, and you have the sci-fi plot lines. And then in between those main plot lines, you
Or
are
levels. They're levels. They're
oh
not
yeah, levels.
plot.
I guess
Yeah.
I was saying plot like from a book sense. Sorry, not
Got
like a
it,
game
got it,
sense.
got it, got
yeah,
it.
sorry,
Yes.
because you're playing like a full book plot in each one of these levels.
Yes. Yeah.
But like while you're in one of them, there are little departures from the main
Side
thing.
stories.
Yes, which are really
I
fun.
loved the side stories.
So delightful. And they had a few that were very large departures from the fantasy sci-fi, and I loved those. Those were so fun. And literally, I spent the entire time with Chris saying there better be a fan fiction level in here somewhere, because it was so funny to me because at some point they brought up there was like a hot dog fever dream shenanigan that gets brought up of like I think it was Zoe as a kid writing something. And
Yeah, I want to talk about that one because
we
that's
could
my
talk
favorite.
about
Okay.
we could talk about it more in depth, but I just mean like they had that conversation, and as a part of the conversation, they had mentioned, oh, so it really is stealing all of our stories. And when they said that, I was like, oh my God, they're gonna get into the weird stuff, the weird shit. Like, and I thought that would be so funny to have like a weird side story level where it was like, you know, like Dramini fanfic. Like I just really
Amazing.
that
would have. That's way too good for this game,
Is
Bridget.
that
Come
not
on.
so funny? I thought that would be so funny. Or like a weird romance plot line that like Mio definitely wrote when she was 15 with like the guy from her class. Like I absolutely feel like there were so many opportunities to deviate from fantasy and sci-fi, but instead most of the side plots were still fantasy sci-fi. And I would have loved if they would have leaned in so much harder into different genres during those moments.
I agree. They had a few side stories that really stuck out to me that I want to talk about. But
Yeah, let's do it.
I do think that it's interesting, like, especially the sci-fi for me, it felt very stereotypical.
Yeah,
But that's
sci-fi
kind
is
of
just
how I
sci-fi.
felt the whole thing was. Not in a bad way. Again, like, none of this is like, I was having a really fun time playing this game, but it felt like they could have pushed boundaries a little bit more and been a little bit more interesting. But they did have some good side stories that were
did.
really interesting that I liked. So we can talk about that. But I agree. Like it didn't really veer off too much. And I do think that it's funny that like from being young, they even had these like full splits in like their personalities, and then therefore like the stories they wrote that pushed them into very starkly fantasy or very starkly sci-fi.
Yeah.
Which was very interesting. But as in like kind of eye roll. But I do want to talk about, you talked about there's a few side stories that I really liked. I loved the pig side story.
Yes, the pig one was pretty cute.
Yeah. So in general, like I wrote this note, in general, I liked the larger levels that were sci-fi and the side stories that were fantasy. Like in general, when I calculated it out, I liked the gameplay in the sci-fi ones more for the longer pieces, and then the gameplay in the side stories from the fantasy. Because most of the side stories that stuck out to me were all the fantasy ones. And then, like, the gameplay elements that stuck out to me were all in the sci-fi levels. So, anyways, I just thought that was an interesting note. But the pig side story, Bridget, I was losing my mind. So they drop you and you're pigs.
You're pigs.
You're pigs. And one of you is, like, a spring pig, and the, like, you spring up. Also, oh my God, a spring pig. I just put that. Isn't that a saying? Like a spring pig?
A spring chicken?
Oh, maybe. No, like a spring pig is like the pig that you You're right. I don't think that's a saying. Okay, but anyways. So the other one is a fart power.
Yes, I had the fart power. It was quite devastating.
Yeah. No, that was I wish I had the fart power.
You liked it? I was like, oh, of course I've got the farts. Like, of course I have it.
I thought it was so funny and it was so cute. I love pigs. I thought that the world designs were gorgeous.
Oh,
like,
yeah, they're amazing.
Amazing. And even in this pig side story, like I literally walked around and like made sure I looked through all nooks and crannies to see all of the different like world design pieces. Like there was a path that you could take, and then you found a pig fishing, and then there was a path that you could take and you would find them, you know, roasting another pig, which was weird. But you know, like it was all of these like really rich worlds, even outside of like the golden path, that was so well detailed and so beautiful. And then once you get you're going through this pig story, and then at the very end, the pig gets launched and you guys go into a meat grinder, and then you get turned into a hot dog.
Sentient
and then
hot
you
dogs.
have to cook yourself, and you put mustard on yourself, and you put ketchup on yourself, and you get eaten. I just thought that was so funny and so amazing.
I loved it.
Just 10 out of 10.
That one was absolutely also the first one that stood out to me because it was just such a fever dream. Like, I was just like, every step of the way, I was like, what is this? And I loved it. I loved it. It was great.
Yeah. What was one of your favorite side stories?
So my other one is the dentist one.
Yes.
So this one is also like, I think it's Mio's 5th birthday, and you're both teeth, and your little hair is like different colored toothpaste, which is an adorable feature. And so you're hopping around in birthday land with the cakes, and it's so cute and fun. And then the dentist arrives, and it turns into like this horror with this dentist who is crazy, and you have to battle him. And like that was actually quite a like scary fight from just like a themed perspective, not like a real horror game. You know, this is obviously still like split fiction, but the genre swap from like this weird little dreamy I'm a tooth floating in Candyland to giant evil dentist, I thought was really, really fun, and was a cute theme around, oh, she's a 5th grader, of course she's scared of going to the dentist after eating all the cake for her birthday. Like, I just thought that one was really fun. And I wasn't expecting it, because at that point I feel like a lot of the side stories had been more themed. Like, I think the pig one was the only other one that was really, really off theme, and this one I think was the other one. I don't know if there were other off theme ones, but I think those were really the only two.
No, off theme, but I thought they got pretty creative with like they got more
Oh yeah, the
creative
other
in
ones
the
were
side
creative,
stories.
just
Yeah.
themed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I would say like that one was another top one for me. And then the other one that stood out was the Magic Moon Market.
I love the Magic Moon Market. Yes, it was so good.
Yes, everything about it was just interactive, which is what I really liked.
And it was so like again, like I thought some of these side stories were actually like some of my favorite experiences in the game because they were an opportunity for it to kind of think outside the box a bit.
Yep.
And this moon market was so cool, and there was so much richness in it again because you could like go to each vendor and like experience what that vendor had. There was one where you were like mixing potions for outcomes, and I thought it was just so fun and
I
detailed.
had a wand and turned Chris into a chair, I think.
Yep. Yeah, it was really fun. The other side stories that stuck out to me was the hand-drawn one.
Oh, that one was sweet. Yeah, I like that one.
That one was super cool, mostly just because it was very different. And it was like hand-drawn, like on a piece of paper. And I thought that was really creative. And like as you were going, it was like a pencil drawing. It would be cool for, I'm sure it exists, but like it would be cool for that to be a whole game in and of itself.
There kind of is. Is it like Lost Pages? I can't remember. No, I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up here in a sec. But there is one where the story gets written as you play, and you actually even, it's kind of a platformer, and you jump on the words of the story.
And that's how this one was. Yeah, you were like jumping on the stuff as it was getting like drawn, and it was very cool and very creative. And then I also wrote that the only sci-fi side story outside of the dentist one that stood out to me was the black hole exploding sun one.
Oh, that one was actually
just
pretty neat.
Visually very cool and like conceptually very cool, but most of the side stories that were sci-fi for me fell a bit flat, like felt like just a little boring, except for the dentist one.
I don't think I wrote down any sci-fi side stories, although I will say that in general, I don't know that I wrote down much of sci-fi at all. I thought that the game mechanics were interesting for those, but the actual like setting and story, I just wasn't super into really any of the sci-fi ones. Chris really liked them, and that cell phone moment was a sci-fi moment where you have to do the captcha.
Cell phone sequence was great.
Yeah. Oh, was the pinball sequence sci-fi or
that was sci-fi? Yep.
Okay, so those I think would be my two sci-fi standouts. Is like at one point the pinball sequence, one of you is the like machine doing like I was the triggers and like the little like pulley, and then the other Zoe is the ball, the pinball.
Yep.
And that was such a creative, fun way to do it. I loved that level. That was probably one of my favorite mechanical levels, was that pinball sequence, just because it was so creative. I was like, oh my God, I'm the machine. Oh my God, I have the triggers. And it was, I don't know, really fun. Yeah.
I liked that a lot. I thought that was super creative too. And I also really liked the like main game sequences. In the sci-fi side, I really liked the sequence that was like a Metroid game. Like literally like Metroid Prime it turned into, which is the side scrolling.
Oh,
like,
those. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It literally turned into a mini Metroidvania, like Metroid game. It was so referential. Like it was crazy. I was like, oh, this is a Metroid game. And I thought that was pretty cool too. Like the way that they did the genre bending in some of the sections. And then made them co-op. I thought that was just really cool.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I thought it was very creative. Like I thought the gameplay was really fun.
Yeah. I thought the gameplay and the level design was absolutely excellent pretty much everywhere. I don't know that there is like the thing that I would be worried about, I think approaching a game like this would be, am I making one person's experience more fun than the other person's experience? Because a lot of times you do have totally different mechanics. And I feel like they did that balance pretty well in the game, because Chris and I would very consistently, like as we were playing, say something like, "Ooh, yeah, I get to fly," and then the other person being like, "Yeah, well, I'm doing blah blah blah." Like I was mad that Chris got to be the fairy. Like I was like pretty peeved at that. Well, like
Oh, that's funny. You had to be the ape. Yeah.
I had to be the ape, and then I had to go like fish.
Okay, but
like,
then I had to roll instead of being able to fly. That was stupid.
Yeah, so that was actually, I loved the dragon main storyline, but I think it's because I do think my powers were better. I got to fly. I just flew the whole game. It was so fun. And like you watch like the dragons grow up, and I was just thinking what it would be like to actually be in a VR simulation like this. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. But I think in general, they did that balance pretty well because you swapped powers really, really frequently. And so even if you got the thing that you thought was cooler for like a period of time, usually you had something cooler, like, or you know, like it traded off back and forth, I think, pretty well. And they tried to make each of the puzzles engaging for both people so that one person wasn't sitting around, which I also appreciated.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was, I thought it was very well done. And very balanced in working together and all of that stuff. I thought it was very well done. Okay.
How difficult did you think it was, since that was one of the...
Not too difficult, actually, but also we're gamers. And so it's funny because I was reading some Reddit threads where people were complaining that it was too hard.
Oh, interesting.
And harder... Apparently the general consensus is that it was harder than It Takes Two.
There were a couple of places, like I think Zoe's Subconscious had a few levels that were kind of hard with the centipedes. The cat dog centipedes.
I loved the centipedes, actually, and I also thought it was so sweet that it was her parents.
It was her parents, guys.
I thought that was so sweet.
But yeah, I think I agree that there were some moments that were like quote unquote hard, but for me, hard means I didn't get through it like the first time, like in this scale of things, right? Like this isn't like hard, like, oh, I'm gonna go play whatever. I don't know. What are those genres called? I can't even remember. I'm totally blanking.
Dark Souls?
Yeah, like it's not like we're not talking that. We're talking like
no.
For me, I made it through pretty much everything without dying, and then the few times that I was like, "Oh, this is quote unquote harder," was because we died a couple of times while we were trying to execute it. So, I wouldn't call this game hard.
No, and I liked the mechanic that I thought was pretty cool. Was if one of you died, you had like a little like button mashing sequence to respawn. And as long as one of you was always alive, it could keep going.
Yeah,
and then
I thought that was
only
nice.
really stopped if you both died, and in which case it would just put you at the beginning of the chapter.
Yeah,
which wasn't ever too bad, or like a checkpoint. Which
I feel like is usually like
too bad.
30 seconds or a minute behind. Like it really wasn't bad at all. It was very forgiving, I'd say.
Which is good because I didn't want this game. Like I could see the intention behind that being. They really thought about it as a cooperative experience because they don't want to come into they don't want to cause people on the couch bickering because you lost a bunch of progress because you died,
Kept
right?
dying. Yeah, totally.
That would just so I thought that was very well thought through. And
it was also nice because you could also lean into different skill sets. Like I was fairly okay at the platforming pieces and like dodging and stuff, and Chris is really good at any of the like aiming or the quick like fast clicking action. And so I'd find we'd actually die a lot on different things. And so it was also just convenient because somebody could carry through some of those portions if the other person was having a hard time.
Yeah. Dude, I could not for the life of me do the kite side story. Oh my god. I sucked
I did too.
hard at that level. It reminded me of Spyro flying.
Yes, Spyro.
Yes,
it was exactly like Spyro. Yes. I said the same thing.
There were so many video game references in this video game. Did you notice that?
No, yeah, definitely. I was like, oh, they definitely just found the ones they liked.
I started just writing them down. Like there was an Assassin's Creed style, like diving into the haystack. There was Dark Souls references. There was a Metroid section. There was a it felt like Tunic / Death's Door, like the way that they did the perspective.
The perspective shift. Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. The like isometric perspective, and it turned into like one of those types of games. there were so many references. And it was very much like, I think, a love letter to gaming in general with those references, you know, which was fun.
They picked a bunch of stuff they knew worked well, and they put it in here, and I liked it.
Yes, exactly.
I liked it.
Yes, yeah. No, for real. It's exactly, yeah, it's funny. Okay, wait. You know what I'm noticing?
Huh.
It's talking about how they're stealing ideas, and then they're like stealing sequences from other games. Are we supposed to feel some type of way about that?
I don't feel like I feel a type of way about it, because I think the spin that they put on it is the fact that it's co-op. Because none of those games are co-op. And so they said, what if Spyro was co-op? What if whatever was co-op? And so I don't hate it. They did the thing that I think a lot of people do, right? So no, I don't feel a type of way. I refuse to put that on them.
I just like literally as I was looking at that and like thinking about it, I was like, wait, and then they're talking about like stealing ideas.
It actually could be an interesting meta like concept, because they talked about how every story you write is a part of you, but every story you write is also created based on the experiences that you've lived,
Totally.
And the other media that you've absorbed and have had a relationship with, right? So maybe a little bit of that.
No, that's right. I feel like that's right. Okay, the last thing that I wanted to mention before we can like get into whatever you want to talk about. Sorry, I feel like I'm dominating this conversation.
No.
But I wanted to go back to the world design a bit, because there was one in the cyberpunky world where a bunch of the ads were so referential and like richly designed in this world.
I don't know if I noticed, so you're gonna have to tell me.
So they had energy. They had like a whole storyline throughout some of these ads with like a show that was like a wrestling show that was going on, and then they also had an ad for an energy drink called "It Takes Two to Tango," which was very funny.
That is fun.
And then in the It Takes Two thing, like it had like the two energy drinks that were the colors of those characters in It Takes Two, like spinning together and like "It Takes Two to Tango" energy drink. So that was really fun.
I like that.
And then they had an advertisement for a hotel chain, and it was White Lotus. It was the Lizard King
my God.
White Lotus hotel chain.
How did I miss that? That's ridiculous. That's so fun.
And that's what I had so much fun just like playing around and experiencing how rich the world design was.
Yeah.
And there were moments where you could sit on a bench and just like look out into the world.
Those.
I loved those because it was really cool the way they did it too, because you're typically a split screen, but then when you both sit on the bench, it removes the split screen and then you get the full TV experience of the world, and you just get to like look at the rich world. I thought that was lovely.
Yes, I sat at almost every single one of those benches because the view was just beautiful. And they usually had cute little story moments sometimes too. Although there were a few instances where I can't remember when or where it was, but Zoe sat down and Mia was like, "Tell me about X." And Zoe was like, "You didn't want to hear about X earlier." And Mia was like, "No, tell me." And so Zoe starts talking, and then Chris immediately gets up.
That is so funny.
I was like, imagine that being a real interaction. Like, "No, tell me." And then you start talking, and then immediate bust off the bench.
That's funny.
Yeah, but no, I did love those. Those are
great.
nice.
Yeah. Okay. What did you have anything else that you wanted to talk about?
I think we covered a lot of what we talked about. I did really appreciate the one thing that the mechanic we didn't talk about briefly was the finale. The finale kind of trippy experience. So I thought that it would be valuable to talk a little bit about that because it was such a vibe. So like in the finale, right, you have Raider and he's crashed into your bubble. So now they're through you in a bubble, which is insanity. And the effect of having another person there is you end up super glitching out. And so it happens. It's so cool. I loved it.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Was that like Mia is in her sci-fi world and Zoe is in her fantasy world, but you're in the same world. And so while you're walking, it's like you see different things, but you can interact with the same stuff. Or like you see
That
a
was
bouncy
really
mushroom,
creative.
but I see a box I can move. So I move the box, and so your mushroom moves. It was really, really cool. I love that element of it. And then on top of having that, like, oh, you're in the same world, interact with stuff, eventually, because of the changes in the viewport, you end up having your screen constantly shifting you back and forth between the worlds. So at some point, you can actually jump and run back and forth on a path between fantasy and sci-fi world to like dodge stuff.
To avoid, yeah.
Yeah, or like a ship becomes a dragon, which is so cool when it crosses the screen. And then you have to like figure out how to walk together so that the screen rotates at the right angles so that you have a thing to jump on and everyone can move at the same pace. And I just thought that finale was so fun because it wasn't like a genre mashup in the general sense. It was literally like you were playing two genres at once,
at the
two
same
worlds
time, layered on top of each other. Yep.
Yes. And so I think that was a really great set of finale level design gameplay. I just loved it. It felt very fresh. I don't know. It was very
And
cool.
you have the background of Raider saying shit like, I am God, which was just
the
real campy, real silly.
The ambient nonsense of that man. Although there is
I thought
one.
it was funny too, because like the board calls were just so comically. He was like, "I don't need you."
Right.
Like
you do. You do need them. There's a reason that you have funding. And then on top of all of that, I'm like, bro, if we take like 1 second here, you probably have like blueprints for this machine. You can build it again, but you're not going to build it again when you kill 2 people in the test run. So maybe let the machine go and rebuild it. Like, come on.
Yeah, the other thing that's like going on in the room with Raider, like the comically evil corporate overlord, was the 2 scientists who were like, it's too risky. And then one of them ends up quitting because of her morals. She's
Which
like,
took her
I
way
can't
too long
do
to
this
do,
anymore.
by the way. Way too long. I'm like, your moral line was really far, girl.
Yeah. When he wrestled her into the, like, that's where I would have been like,
I know. Immediately I would have walked out and be like, 911? I think.
Yes! Kidnapping! Holding hostage? Yeah.
I'm like, I cannot believe she made it that long. And then when they left, I'm like, I hope they called 911 because he already admitted to being okay if they die. So, like, was there a phone call? And then the board kept threatening a phone call.
Well, the police did show up at the end, which was really funny. They were, like, standing outside the door, like, police.
They're like, literally, people are, like, half dying. And they're, like, making knocking noises on metal bars. I'm like, let me in. I'm like, do you not have a tool? Like,
no tools. Yeah, no. And then it was really funny because when the police finally did come in, they like let them walk away. I was like,
just walked away. They just walked away. And I asked Chris, I was like, shouldn't we be doing an interview?
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't we be down at should we be getting medical attention? Like, but no, we just walked out. We were like, yeah, we're done with that. Yeah,
all right.
We're done.
Bye. I could see how they could build off of this concept, though, with, like, other authors, which is kind of cool. Like, I don't know if they would end up doing that, like, Hazelight Studios, like, if they would consider a
like different
sequel.
versions with different genres. I do think that'd be cute. Yeah, I'd like that a lot.
It feels ripe for DLC or sequels.
Yeah. I really want a romance DLC. Give me the romance DLC. I think it would be so fucking funny. I feel like they could find a way to do it in a way that's just hilarious.
I think that would be too boundary pushing, unfortunately. Although in their first game, the It Takes Two, they had a lot of weird stuff, so maybe not.
Yeah, they had that weird trippy book thing.
Well, and they did have pigs jumping into a meat grinder to make a hot dog.
Yeah, exactly. We played rolling hot dogs. I sauced my husband and put him in a bun to eat, so I think it's fine.
Sauced my husband. I love that. Okay. Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
wow, what a fun game. What a fun game. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
final
wrap
thoughts?
up?
Yeah,
final thoughts.
You go.
I loved it. I thought it was a ton of fun. I love co-op games in general. I thought the co-op gameplay was just always fun. They had some clever sequences, even though I thought the storyline was a bit predictable and cheesy, and I did think that they could have pushed boundaries more with the genre, but the gameplay itself was just so much fun, and the experience of playing it with my husband was also a ton of fun. Like, we were just laughing together at the dialogue, honestly. It was just a really fun together experience. I would recommend it to just about everyone, honestly. It's pretty approachable. I think the only thing is maybe it's a little bit hard for people who are brand new to games, but like some of the sequences, I think if you didn't have the like game control basics, then it could get hard.
Yeah.
But
like you had to be pressing multiple buttons timed at once kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I think it's not like for I've never picked up a controller before type of players, unfortunately.
Unless you're playing with someone who's really good and won't die, so you can get through most of it, I would
That's
say.
true. That's true. But yeah, honestly, I would recommend it to everyone. Just about everyone. Like, I think there's something for everyone in this game. Even if you think the story's cheesy, even if you like the experience of playing it with someone is just a lot of fun. You know? And I think it's just fun for the whole family.
Like theme parks in the Midwest.
Like theme parks in the Midwest.
We're rounding out this whole conversation for you guys.
Yep. So I did give this a 5 out of 5. I had a lot of fun. I guess I'll give it a 5 out of 5 glowing cats from the moon side story. Aww. Or farting pigs. 5 out of 5 farting pigs.
I was going to say, I'm like, you went with the glowing cats instead of the fever dream hot dogs. So okay,
No. 5 out of 5 farting pigs.
Okay.
It's my first 5 out of 5 game of the year, I think.
I think so. We've been a lot more stingy
we haven't
with our
played
5
that
out of 5s lately, to be fair. I feel like we've been a lot more stingy with our 5 out of 5s lately.
We have. And this was a 5 out of 5 experience for me. Yeah.
So I fully agree with everything that you said, so I won't repeat those pieces. The only like main critique that I had wasn't even really a critique. It was just I wanted them to be more playful with other genres as it. And that was more of a like, ooh, I want more. And I feel like when my criticism is I want more because I like the thing that I had, that doesn't feel like a harsh criticism. I absolutely don't think that I minded the cheese at all. I like stupid stuff like that because I don't know, it's entertaining to me in a different way.
It is entertaining, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure if I asked Chris, he'd be like, that was cheesy, I loved it.
Cute, yeah.
And so like I did enjoy being able to also make like the snarky comments whenever like cheesiness was happening. I thought that was a nice addition. And even if the story was like predictable, it still I feel like had a pretty solid beginning, middle, end progression that I could follow. And characters that I enjoyed. I actually really liked both Mio and Zoe. I thought they were fun. They I feel like a lot of times characters can become a little annoying when they're doing the barking talk all the time, but instead I thought that theirs was really fun. So all of that stuff I really enjoyed. I agree with you that I think the game could be for pretty much just about everyone. You do have to have 2 people. So this is not like I can play by myself.
Yeah.
You do have to have a second person. I do think that you could probably play it again if you swapped sides because they have totally different mechanics. So if you're like, oh, but my brother's already played it, maybe have them swap and then you could play the other side with you. So that could be a good option. Yeah. And overall, I really enjoyed it. I also wanted to give it a 5 out of 5. I loved the experience. I literally on the couch today when I was writing and cleaning up my notes and stuff, I was like, Chris, I don't have a critique. It's like, I had to think actually kind of hard about how I wanted to critique it because I just thought I had such an enjoyable experience. And every time we sat down, it was really fun. And I'll say that Chris and I over the last week, I've had a really stressful week with like work shenanigans and like we're trying to get our house all cleaned up and stuff. And we've had really long days. And every single time that we picked up this game, it was just so fun. Like it was really, really fun. And I think they did a really good job at not making it like the overcooked IKEA furniture building relationship test that it could have been, and instead they just made it really enjoyable. So overall 5 out of 5 for me, and I'm gonna do 5 out of 5 dragon eggs.
Yay. I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
ready.
Thank you for listening to our What a good game. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and rate it. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and YouTube at Baddy Breakdowns, and visit our website, baddybreakdowns.com, made by Bridget. The podcast art was done by the wonderful Tanisha Vernicar, and the podcast was edited by me, and I also made our theme song. Join us next time to hear us two baddies break down Blueprints.
Blueprints.
We're going to come back to Wanderstop, but we're too addicted to Blueprints right now, so we're
It's
going to do that one next.
I already have so many things to talk about with you with this, and I'm holding it in. I have so many things.
I love it. Okay, write down those things.
I am.
So
I'm
you don't
writing
forget
down.
them.
I'm taking
Okay.
notes. The amount of notes that I have right now
Oh,
in
yeah.
a notebook for this game,
Mm-hmm.
both for the game and for myself.
Also, y'all, I want to say I started this game before Bridget, and Bridget has already passed me.
I'm
which
on day.
is not surprising, but I started like a week
Like a
before
week.
you.
To be fair, you do stuff like gardening outdoors.
Just yesterday.
I know, but what I did was sit on the couch and play this game. What day are you on so far?
I think I'm on day 12.
Okay, you're not too far. I'm only on day 20.
Okay,
Which
only.
But I've also been, like, some of my runs have been very fast because that RNG be getting me.
You just get...
Wait.
Wait, RNG?
RNG?
What's that stand for?
Random? It's random number generation. Yeah.
Oh.
RNG.
Oh, okay, yeah, like the luck stuff.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
sometimes I accidentally fuck it up for myself.
Yeah, too. Where I'm
Like
do
multiple
this and
times,
then
I'll
be-
pick the room and I'm like, oh, fuck,
Fuck,
why did
yeah.
I do that?
Yes, absolutely. I'm like, ooh, I finally got. Oh, right now I have no paths.
Bridget, it was heartbreaking this last run. I had 20 gems and I accidentally dead-ended myself.
Oh no, that is devastating.
It was heartbreaking.
Oh,
Because
my heart is
I'd
broken
gotten
for
an
you.
experiment. Have you done the experiments yet?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I got an experiment that was like money out the wazoo. And so I had a ton of
Oh.
money, and then I used the laundry room to convert the money into the gems. And so then I had a
So you're like,
shit
look
ton
at
of
me go.
gems. And I was like, okay, I'm fucking ready. I'm ready for these like expensive rooms, these passageways, these aquariums. I'm fucking ready. And then dead-ended myself like almost immediately after that.
That
And I
is
was like,
so
fuck.
devastating. That's actually
It was heartbreaking.
Wait, have you made it to the antechamber yet?
No.
Okay.
Like I've made it too. I haven't figured out how to get in.
Okay. Yeah. I won't say more. I haven't made it any further than if I had made it to it. So
Okay.
that's about where I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, you got a sneak
Oh, this
peek
game's so good, guys.
for next time.
Yeah, a little sneak peek. All right.
Bye.
Bye.